Hi everyone. I'm doing a face reading, but not the full reading. It's just let me tell you how I came across this guy. The guy's called Jordan Peterson, and back in oh, I was in Bandura, and I was playing a game of Scrabble, and one of the guys put a word that was incel, INCEL, and well, never heard of it, don't know what the word means, all of that. And so uh, looked it up, and incel it's a shortened word, but he thought he could get away with it. Not on my watch. And it's involuntary celibate, right? And so it's a shortened word, couldn't use it, blah, blah. But when I looked it up, this guy's face came up. His name's Jordan Peterson. And I just said, oh, what a handsome man. And, I read about him a little bit, etc. And then I think he came out to Australia and was on one of the ABC things. I don't know if it was Q&A or one of those. So he had written a book, but he's already a clinical psychologist, and he's turned into a culture warrior, or people have turned him into a culture warrior. What's wrong with him? There's nothing actually wrong with him. He's called like a false prophet or a ferocious wolf. And he, as a professor in the university he was at, uh, doesn't matter, you can always Google it. I don't remember. Um, what he used to do is offer an alternative, and that alternative basically was for means of understanding, which means people are starved for a means of understanding, and he had that means of understanding. I watched a few things and I loved it. Okay. I really, really do. I really, really did at the time. So why am I doing him? Because there's a new movie that actually came out. The movie is called Don't Worry, Darling. Okay. And it's by, what's her name? I have to find it. Olivia Wilde. She's the girl doing, or he's doing her, I forgot his name, Harry Styles. How can I forget that name? So, anyway, so she turns around and says that maybe it was in an interview or whatever it was in, that she was inspired by Jordan Peterson. So I thought, what? I know who that is. Yeah, the guy that says, doesn't matter what gender you are, if you're lonely, that kind of thing, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I loved his reply to her when she actually said that about him. The reply was, it's the latest bit of propaganda disseminated by the woke, self-righteous bores and bullies who now dominate Hollywood. Yeah, basically called her a scrubber. Oh, am I allowed to say that? But that's what she did. She said the sinister character that is played by Chris Pines as Frank in her movie was inspired by him. So she described him as a pseudo intellect. What was that word? I can't find it. To the incel community. So he's kind of the great seeker, that kind of a person. And yeah, he is pretty good. So when I saw it, I remembered that he had this face, and I'm thinking at the time I thought he's probably the only person that doesn't have his lines done. And then this month I thought, oh my God, I've got to do his chart. I've got to do not the chart. I've got to do his face because of the lines, because I went back to look at that. All right. All right. So this is what I want to explain also is, remember, if you're not sure, I will put the link as to how you can go about looking at your face in a mirror, or take a picture and then just draw the lines on the outside. All right, so the first one is the shapes and the lines that are actually on your face, horizontal, vertical, all of that. They all show something about you. They all tell us the story, whatever the story is. So if you're looking at your forehead, and you can see that in the picture there. So he's got three. There's forehead where the nose is, so that's heaven. Sorry, I went blank then. Heaven, human, and earth. And for him, the heaven and the human are the same size measurement wise, but the earth is smaller. It's only point one smaller. So the heaven and the human is 1.9, and that is 1.8, all right, centimeters. All right, so he is that kind of face that it does draw you in at the same time. So if I'm looking at his forehead, his hairline here is just really perfect. It's not like an M shape. It's not rigid. It's not, yeah, it's just a good shape. All right. And you can see that in the picture that I've got there, there as one. Okay. So in that one, he's got that perfect hairline in a way. There are, it's protruding. This is all protruding, which is pretty good, having that protruding. It means he's not reserved. So he will say it like it actually is. So the three areas are the upper, which is about analyzing and career, like your career taking off. That is quite strong. Okay, up here. Then here is how you take things in. And he does say that women are better than men, yet, yeah, I don't know about that. But how you take things in is this part here. You can see his. And then the lower is, there is also your prosperity and your comfort at the same time in those three. But the heaven is also a great start in life, and it's useful. It's normally education. Okay. This part here is a stable career, as I said, but you're in control. You're in control of any situation in that way. And then old age, happy old age, comfort, etc., compassion, that sort of stuff. All right. So with this, with his forehead as well, this is pretty good. It's luck, all right. And it is rounder, it is fuller, it is rounder. I looked on a side on for him, and it is rounder picture, that is. It's fuller than the average. It is not receding hairlines here, which means he thinks before he acts. So he thinks before he replies, very quick-witted in that sense, but he's quick at replying, all right. The broader, because this, and I am concentrating on this, and you'll see why. The broader this is, it makes you broad-minded, logical, very quick. It has intelligence. It's also, you'll reach the top of your field. Whatever field you go into, you will reach the top of that. And he is basically that kind of person that they don't like those that are not practical. He doesn't like, because it's open. Look how open that is. His. And it is, just protruding enough, not over the top. And then those temples. Where do you want me to start? Sorry. What I forgot to say is, he could be unfaithful because of how wide that is, but there's something else that actually pulls him back, and I'll get into that after in a bit. Very tolerant, very capable. Okay, so that's all of that. All right, I don't want to miss anything, so that's why I have my little points. Also, with your forehead, the hairline, because it's so high, this is intelligence. It means you plan very, very well, very moralistic, very virtuous. It's kind of like what they call the mother's influence. So it's what you should and what you shouldn't do. And your mums are supposed to do that. It's down to earth, and very anal, as in perfectionist. Everything has a place, and every place has a place. That sort of thing. Everything is like that. So he has that. This is quite straight. If you look at picture one, it is quite straight, the hairline, and then that means he also appreciates the finer things. He appears to not have feelings, but he solves it all with his mind. Okay, so that is that forehead. Now, as you can see, I've just got nothing but forehead because it was like, whoa, yeah. So they build themselves from nothing. They do become successful and well known. Now, the lines on the forehead are huge on his forehead. They help, it's like you help yourself in everything. You learn the lessons, but no pain, no gain, that type of thing. The early lines, when I say early lines, I mean before your 30s. If you have lines before your 30s, then yeah, it's not good for you. But once the lines do come in later, then that's more perfect. It means that you've moved forward into the next phase. Women's lines do appear late 30s, and men's lines appear in their 40s, supposedly. He doesn't have any verticals running through here, okay, which also means that there's no negativity happening here. Now, he does have this. We also then divide this into you can divide it into threes, as in your 20s, your 30s, etc., etc. All right, so not doing that here. I want to concentrate on those lines. So in picture 2 and in picture 3, you can see those lines. And I don't have anything of him right now except that picture number 3. But when he was in his 30s, he had these lines, and that's picture 2. So I've put a line across, and that's the center. So that center line becomes the sun. And then what you do with that is the 3 lines above that become Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the 3 lines below that go to the eyebrow is Venus, Mercury, and the moon. Okay, and so that's how you actually look at it in that way. And remember, the forehead is the first place you should get your creases because it's your experiences, it's your learning, it's your travel, and it's the mistakes and lessons that you learn in your 20s. All right. And these lines that he has are not broken lines. There are other lines that come in. That is just supporting a line that is already there, which is just brilliant. You've got support for, most of these planets, basically. They are strong, they are deep, they are not broken. They are not broken as in if you looked at somebody like Nelson Mandela. If you looked at Nelson Mandela's forehead, it's full of broken lines. A lot of issues there. Yeah. So this means the results of these lines are very, very prosperous. So the first line, which is in picture 3, you can see that first line, it does that dip. And I did want to go over those lines so you missed what it actually looks like. And that's basically Saturn. Saturn makes you more reserved. You do become stubborn. So earlier in life, he was very stubborn, uncompromising. And that's where that comes from. You're a very reserved person. Da, da, da. The second line is Jupiter. Jupiter is optimistic. Jupiter means you love knowledge. You have these strong beliefs. And then when you have these strong beliefs, this also, being optimistic as well, this brings you this financial security we call wealth. All right. Then we have Mars. Mars comes in. You can see his Mars is quite strong. It's before the sun. We're not up to the center yet, which is the center line. That's the sun. This is a aggressive nature he would have had also early on in his 20s, courageous and lots of stamina, that kind of nature. The sun, which is the center, is, what does the sun do? It shines bright. So this is about your fame, your power, your status, your prestige, your desires, but it's also recognition because we get to see the sun, right? Then underneath the sun, he has Venus. Venus is the goddess love, planet, blah, blah, amorous. It means he has interests and he loves fine arts, etc. Mercury. Mercury is very eloquent. They have communicating skills, blah, 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 and they have writing skills. So they can, they can talk anywhere, anything, answer anything, anywhere. The last one is the moon. Now, his moon has two other lines here, and it does have horizontal lines through it. If you look at a lot of his pictures, if you look at 4, you'll see where I've drawn the red on each side, there are lines through that. That's just where the moon is, and that moon is domestic and imaginative. It's his intuition, and that intuition has other things going through it, which means the left side, which is his left side, that has more moons going through it, meaning when I say more moons, more intuition, more loves the good food, the good drink, the good liquids, all of that. So it's huge. And then on the right side, all those lines that are going through his moon line, that's actually the sun. Okay. So he already has the sun there, but he has more there. So it's not like just intuition. He actually can see very, very, very clearly, that type of thing. So if you look at his temples, they are quite strong. And this is what they call divine, I've talked about it before, divine presence, which is kind of the code for brain consciousness, all right? This is what's called the residence palace. The resident is your partner, so marriage. It's very, very clear. So in this particular face, in Jordan's face, it's clear and it goes in a bit. So if you look at the picture, it goes in. There's a little bit of an indent there, and that is how it's meant to actually be. Then he has these eyebrows that, they're thick eyebrows. These eyebrows, when you look at eyebrows, you look at the shape, the curve, the position, the condition they are in. Are they joined? Are they separated? That type of thing. So for him, he has straight eyebrows. They're not like, we call that straight. This means he's the ideas person. They are low down on his eyes, which is an impulsive person at the same time. And because they are thick, this is his thinking quality, and he becomes powerful from his thinking. Whatever he's thinking, he becomes powerful from that. So eyebrows basically are about your thinking, your moods, your passion, temper, fame, all of that. All right. Next, eyes. So eyes, you already know, windows to the soul, blah, 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 that sort of thing. His eyes, that's what you connect to straight away. You don't connect to anything else. He's got big dreamy eyes. So how he views the world, and it's how life as he views it is his eyes, all right? So there's an inner self. There are issues, yes. But all of that is he equals a stable nature. The eyes also tell us he's got intelligence, he's got inner wisdom, and it's receptive. He's very receptive, in that way. I'm just going to touch on his lips, but you can always look it up. I didn't put any lips there, did I? He's got lips, and what his lips say is outspoken and persuasive nature. Now, he is now, I'm sure he's in his 60s. So, his 60s are this part here. So you've got your 60s there, and then my left side, 61, 62, and it keeps going. And by the time you get to there, uh, this is 69 right there, and then left side 65, 66, that sort of thing. But this is where he is. And if you look at his chin, I know that one's the chin that I've actually got there, not there, there is covered with hair, but he does have a square chin. He has a wide chin. That's just a little strength, and that's a strength of mind. Now, because it represents power, leadership skills, all of that, it's strong will at the same time. He knows the difference between right and wrong in this. And with the thing is, because this is square and he has this high forehead, then that adds another level, because every one of your areas, if it's with this one this and this one this, it also adds more. So because he has this high forehead and he has this squarish jaw, that's morality. He has a lot of morals, this guy. Even though I said he could have many relationships, but when we come back to the chin and that, no, he has a lot of morals. And because that is the leading type of thing, everyone follows his steps, his footsteps. All right. So, yeah. And if I'm talking funny, this morning I broke my tooth. Yeah. But I won't be posting this today. I'll post it another day because I've got to do something else today. All right. Yes, I'm getting it fixed on Monday. Fingers crossed. So this is Jordan Peterson. Please Google him and see how amazing this guy is. I mean, I'll probably end up doing his chart one day, but at the moment, yeah, his face just tells it all. And I did watch one of the podcasts, and he talks, he doesn't smile or laugh. But one of the podcasts, he was with his son, and he was laughing and joking, which just means that he loves his children, like he loves the presence of his children at the same time. And so because he's in the time span of that 60, to know what is going on for him, I would have to do his destiny chart to find out what else is going on. All right. So what's wrong with this guy? There's nothing wrong with this guy. He wrote that last book, I think, was the 12 Rules of Life. It was an antidote to chaos. And because he talks and says, you got to go out and get what you want, or whatever it is. And I love, there was a saying, I don't know if I wrote it down. There's a saying that he actually says. Oh, please write it down. Oh, when you're looking for a man, he says to women even, do you want an overgrown child? And, they say that your child is your your husband is your first child. Oh, that's what I forgot. I forgot the lines there in picture 4. So in picture 4, there are these lines, 1, 2, and 3. These 3 lines, it's celebrity, meant to be a celebrity. So whether he acts or whatever, and and he used to post all his talks, etc., as a professor on YouTube. So people are saying, oh, you've got more male, blah blah, and he says that's because YouTube is 80% male dominated. But they're not listening to that. They want something else from him, and he's so good. He's just so good. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that helps you to see. Don't go and fill these lines because you lose the lesson. All right. Have a good day.